Hey everyone. Hey Astrid. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm so excited to join all of you for another episode of the Deck Creators Podcast. And as I already mentioned today, we're here with Astrid Mueller, and she is a multi-passionate creative entrepreneur. I know you love doing a lot of things. She is the author of a really inspiring book named Permission to Sparkle. She's also the creator of several card decks, and she's the founder of the Integrative Wellness Network. Did I say that correctly?
Yes. hmm
And one part of your story that really inspires me too, Astrid. I don't know how much time we'll have to go into that specifically today, but I know you went through a really crazy journey of recovering from stage 4 cancer, and that's really become part of your work as well. I remember, I mean, we met before that happened, and I watched you go through this entire process and how you got your diagnosis, and then you just refused to accept the death sentence from your doctors and sparkled your way through it. And now you're also supporting others on this journey of recovery. And so I feel like that's an important part of what you do as well. I've been feeling really inspired by your journey and everything you do. And the main topic of today's conversation is going to be more centered around creating card decks and specifically using your card deck in your business and in your marketing. And yeah, we wanted to use this angle because that's kind of part of your story, Astrid, and how you started working with card decks or creating card decks. So thank you so much for being here with us today, first of all.
Thank you for
And I
having
don't
me.
know if you want to share anything else or add anything else to the introduction before we dive into the first question.
Sure. Just to give the lay of the land, and thank you so much for introducing me so kindly. Um, yeah, I think you hit almost everything. What I do want to add is that I have a branding background and a designer background before I even got into the coaching world and before I got inspired to start writing my book. I was first in corporate and design. I designed for Swarovski. The whole sparkle started there. And then I did like I had the marketing, was in the marketing department and designing like sales materials and learned design as an entry-level position and so forth. And then later, after a sabbatical of studying art in Alaska, actually in Fairbanks, I started my first design business, which was illustrations for women magazines. That was the first thing. And then I became passionate about branding because I realized that even one person business owners, we can really stand out with what we're doing if we use some basic branding principles. And um, that big agencies also use. And so I started bringing that into work with clients, and I went into web design for a while and a whole brand experience designs and fast forward to today. So I'm still passionate about helping people shine their superpowers. It lights me up when people have a big vision and want to bring their magic to the planet. And one of the things that is part of my superpowers is to spot skills and superpowers and the heart sparkle that people have, and then seeing connecting the dots and how you can bring it to the planet. And that translates also to marketing. And I love to use innovative ways of doing things. And especially, I want to do things in a way that feels sparkling to me when I do them for myself. And I want to help others also to do that. That's like my whole thing. It's like I'm also an alchemist. And when when things don't feel sparkling or positive, vibing with you, and you feel heavy around your marketing, or it's not going to work. You're not going to have fun. You're just going to slug through. And it's not going to lead to magic. So I'm here to help people sparkle also in their marketing with their brands and bring that to the planet.
It's definitely one thing I really love about you, Astrid. I think you're such a perfect example of, how you make everything so magical and joyful and how you bring that into everything that you do, not just for yourself, but also with your clients. And I think it's a really great transition to my first question. So I wanted to ask you more specifically how you got started on your journey with card decks. What was your introduction to that? I don't actually know if your first card deck was one that you designed for a client or if it was one that you designed for yourself.
Me.
But okay,
Yeah,
so let's start there.
yeah, sure. So that also comes back to my stories in Alaska. So I was living in Kodiak Island with all the big bears. Anyway, but I had just
Wow.
invested. Yes, I had just invested in a big coaching program for myself because I wanted to grow my business and so forth. And they were teaching all these principles of like, well, what are like funnels you can do? What are things you can do in marketing? And at first I was really inspired, but then it started feeling heavy really fast and I felt overwhelmed and it got so intense that, they were saying like, oh, do PowerPoint, do this. And I tried it for a bit, and it took me like 2 days to do like a stupid webinar presentation. It felt really terrible. And anyway, so then I pulled the plug and I was like, you know what? Like, I don't care if I spent like almost 20,000. I need a break. I'm like not going to the calls. I need to go outside. So I went into nature. I took the dogs. I went to the ocean and just kind of sat, like hung out by the sea, which of course includes playfulness, creativity, kind of reconnecting with our magic, with nature, right? And so I just like suspended everything. And when I was doing that and playing with dogs, I lightly lightly asked the question, so I wonder what could be a magical way for me to do marketing, something that lights me up. And then I just played with dogs again and just let it be, which is actually turns into like how I see manifesting works. Not trying hard, right? Like, so all the things that I did happened to be the magic, easy manifesting flow. So playing with dogs, sitting in the sun, and suddenly it hit me. The idea came through because I was playing and just being, right? So I'm like, oh, people are doing challenges, right? But you can design things and you love to play. So just design a card deck and don't do a challenge, but do like use a card deck that you use for a week and do a play challenge, right? And so that really like excited me. And I was like, oh, that's fun and cool. And at the time I was teaching branding. And so I went home and I'm like, oh, I can do this. And because I'm a designer, within the afternoon, I just designed a card deck. And I made it so simple. I actually have the deck here. I didn't know all the details, but I ended up just designing like letters and so, like so I had the whole alphabet and I had a few symbols in there, and and then I just sent it to print because it felt magical. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna figure out the details later. So I had a few play prompts in there, super basic, and sent it off to print in an afternoon. And then I filled in the blanks later, and I was like, okay, so what can A mean in the context of my teachings? What does B mean? Blah blah blah. And so then I invited people to a branding game challenge, which was my teachings at the time. So this deck was just for me to engage with people. And what ended up happening for me was like before I had like 4 or 5 people typically responding to things, and when I put that out there, I had 38 people register and like they wanted to play and they showed up and I had like all these tracking sheets on my closet and it was so exciting. So for me, that was like a big validation, really like for all kinds of things like that. We have to find our own sparkle, what lights us up, to listen to our own intuition. And then when you find that spark, run with it, right? And the playfulness, I love that when we use playfulness also in marketing, especially when it's naturally, genuinely lighting us up, when it's not contrived, that is also the flow for everybody else, and people actually love to play. And so that led me to my first card deck.
I love that story, like everything about it. And I think it's such a beautiful example of, how you really think outside the box and also how you let the magic come to you rather than forcing it. I feel like that's, yeah, it's really part of the feminine magic. And I think you also bring the inner child into everything. And it's just something that a lot of people are missing. And we grow up and at the same time, I feel like we never really completely want to leave our inner child behind, or we miss that if we don't have that in our lives. And there's so much magic in that. So I love how you, well, listen to that and you listen to what you were feeling about, things just feeling heavy and this is not really what you wanted to do, or, just following the framework that you were given, and you just allowed something unique to come through, and it flowed so beautifully. And also seeing, not just that you created it for yourself, but what happened afterwards, that it actually worked for you as a magnetic tool for your marketing, and started something there. Um, so the card deck that you just showed us, so that is a printed version, that's not like hand drawn. I couldn't
Yep.
really see.
Yeah,
Can
but it
I?
was just a prototype. I just ordered a prototype, and that's all I ever did with that deck. That was my private use directly with clients sort of concept.
Mm. And did you create more card decks for yourself after that?
Yeah, so I ended up designing one that matches with my book, Permission to Sparkle. And that one is one that allows you to playfully engage with the book. And I only did like a proto pilot launch. So I still have it, it's not like super fancy, but I have a leaflet and I used a sticker to get it done. And I actually launched that while I was on my cancer healing journey. So I made it very accessible and easy to launch it. I just said like I think I said like 12. I'm just gonna order 12, and then I sold them out. That's also feels really nice to say like, oh, sold out. It feels very accomplished and complete, and it sounds nice. So that's how I got it out there. And right now I just have it upon request. And this is an empowerment deck that helps people sparkle. And I kind of channeled it because it also has like a game quality to it. It has different types of cards, and it's very playful. Also, there are like play prompts that help you see your superpowers and to activate your playful energy to create more sparkle in your life. Yeah, that's that deck, and then I have designed other decks for clients as well.
The one that you just showed us, I think that's the first one that I actually saw you sharing. I remember you launching it, and yeah, again, I love how you, did all, combine the book with the card deck as well, and a really beautiful way of gamifying every. I think the book itself is really playful as well, and I know I have a copy somewhere.
Ah.
Um, it's been a while. I feel like it's been quite a few years since I last looked at it, but yeah, just so you're not just providing information, or something that my partner and I have been talking about a lot, in the self-help world. Like there's a lot of information, but I feel the tools that are the most valuable often are the ones that really help us actually do the work and implement. And I think you take it a step further with not just, giving exercises, but actually making it really fun, and it doesn't have to be so serious, and we can
Yeah.
integrate, I think, yeah, the magic and the intuition, and just room for, yeah, not just, the logical mind to figure things out, but we
Yeah,
just.
absolutely. And I actually really found that just using our logical mind is limited, and we're not accessing our full intelligence. Our full intelligence needs to include our intuition, and playfulness opens us up to hearing like all our bigger wisdom. And so, yeah, having a deck can actually open up people to your brand magic. So it's depending on your strategy. So there's a lot of potential.
So I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the project that you're currently working on. And I know we always have multiple things going on, but you are currently working on a new card deck as well. And that's a bit of a different approach. So it's more of a collaborative card deck. And
Yeah.
why don't you just tell us a little bit more about what inspired you, first of all, to create this, and also what exactly you're creating, and we can take it
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. So I don't have a visual at hand because this one is in development. We have launched some digital previews of it. So this is in context with my integrative wellness network. And what that project is like we're on a mission to bring wellness professionals together from all walks of life and modalities, anything that helps joy, body, mind, emotion, spirit, soul, everything's interconnected. So I have this community, and we're on a mission to inspire people around the world to what's possible, to hear modalities and so forth. And so one day I got the idea that how cool would it be to have a card deck that is a tool to inspire people playfully about integrative wellness, and then give providers like one card that they can be featured on with a wellness prompt. So they can purchase like one featured spot. So then they have the front and the back of the card, and there's like a mantra, a play prompt, their specialty, and even a QR code that can lead to a video from them with like, hi, I'm here, like let's do a meditation together, blah, 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 right? So really a cool opening point for people to get visible with their business. And I designed it so that it's not just a promotional piece, but really a navigation deck. So I had like 3 suits are going to be in there. One is like wellness areas, one is wellness professionals, and then one is also going to be like an intuitive, what's the weather like, kind of like life situation. So then people can use the deck in many different ways to find their intuitive next steps for wellness. So, and I'm excited about that too because the way I'm rolling it out is also creative because I don't have a super big community yet. So I don't have 40 spots filled right away, but I didn't want it to just sit there. I just kind of wanted to keep rolling it out. So I thought to do several pilot launches where we're doing Zoom calls whenever I have a new set of like professionals who are ready. I designed the cards, and we have a live Zoom call where we're inspiring people, kind of like a mini summit, and we play with the card deck, we talk about it, the people get spotlighted, and we're all sharing it. So it's a collaborative concept where everybody who's part of the deck also later gets to sell it, gets to share it. They can use it in their marketing. They can say like, oh, I'm featured in this deck and so forth. So as soon as you bring collaboration in, it's also really cool how things can like ripple out even more. And it's fun to do something with others.
Really love the aspect of, I feel like there's so many ways you can connect people and like different parts of your work even through a card deck like that. And in a way it feels like, you're giving everyone, it's almost like a business card, but then also it's a an inspirational tool, and there's so many ways again that you can get creative with it and playful with it. And then integrating different types of media as well. So it's a physical deck, but then also you have the Zoom calls and then the other digital aspects. I
Mhm.
remember you mentioned QR codes. So the QR codes would they go to like an area on a website where you can get
Yeah.
more
So
information, or what does that look
the
like?
idea is to make it like an interactive wellness experience so that people who click on the QR code, they land on a page of that professional where they have a video. And then it's almost like they're meeting them virtually, where they're like, hi, I'm so happy you're here. Let's play with this wellness prompt. So it's like a first doorway into their world as a professional, and then a potential client pathway if they resonate with them as well.
That's awesome. And I just want to say before I continue with the next question, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll take questions from our audience a little bit later, but I think soon we'll jump into that. So I just wanted to mention that before I forget. And also, I know you still have open spots for the card deck that you're currently working on. So if anybody's listening here live or watching the replay and you feel like this would be an amazing opportunity for you, then you can reach out to Astrid and learn more about how you could become part of that collaboration. So I think one question that would be really interesting for our audience as well. One question we get a lot is, how do you get a deck like that printed? And
Okay.
so you know, we have a lot of different ways that we work with printers. We've worked with a lot of different printers and we, we teach our specific process and all of that. But I think what you did was more of a print on demand option. Like you kept it really simple. And I think that's sometimes that's exactly what people are looking for. So if you want to share a little bit more about that process and how you went about finding the right printer and what the ideal solution ended up looking like. Did you find a printer locally or did you just use a
No. So, and I'll give the ball back to you because I think you're more on the ball of this and like all the options that are out there right now and so forth. So with the integrative wellness card deck tool, I am going as I roll forward, So for now, we're just digital, and I do have resources that I've used before, like I think it's called playing card. Make playing cards or something. That's standard, that I use for this one. You can print small quantities and just order it for myself and have it here. So when I get to the point that we are ready for production with all spots filled, then I will look at like, where am I at with the Wellness Network? How many will we print? I will probably look at having pre-orders. Like with launches to have people that I know how many I would produce. And then I'm also thinking long term in the further future to think with a fulfillment house to have like a way where it can be automatically reordered or something like that. So I don't have all the answers yet. I would look more closely at that time of like which print house at that time is like likely the best fit.
Okay, yeah, that sounds awesome. And I think it really makes a lot of sense, once like even to wait until you actually know how many decks that you want to
Yeah.
print, because depending on that, one solution might work better than the other.
Yeah.
And if you need any recommendations when you get to that point, let us know, because
I
we
would
do
love
have,
that. Yes, probably I will get back to you. Yes.
yeah,
Thanks.
like logistics is it's a big part. And there's a lot of different ways of piecing together your
Yeah, and
system.
also
So,
the strategy, right? Because I don't have all
mm,
the details of my strategy yet, and I know that I want to stay mobile. I don't want to end up having like a whole stock in my place and send things out myself. I want to like make things as simple as possible. So likely something that can be ordered directly. We'll figure it out.
yeah, there's definitely solutions for that as well. And there's some print on demand solutions. I may have a contact for you. I'll share that
Oh,
with you
sweet.
later. Um, I just see a question in the chat from Shireen, actually a couple questions. What is the way to reach out to you, Astrid? What's the best? We'll mention that again towards the end as well, but if anybody wants to know now.
Awesome. Yeah, sure. So my website is my name, astridmueller.com, and you'll see my book there. And the card deck is actually kind of undercover at this moment because I'm focusing on the Integrative Wellness Network and so forth. So I don't have all things lined up and, that will come more in the future again. So if anybody's interested in the deck, I have them here. Just message me and then I can ship one directly to you personally. That's how it's set up right now. Let's see. And I
Thank
see
you.
there's another question. How do you coordinate the Sparkle book on the Sparkle deck? I guess that answers the question also similarly in a way. So my book, I currently have it. It's on my website and on Amazon. I published with Ingram Spark. So that means that from Ingram, it goes to all the online places like Amazon and so forth. So people can directly order print on demand, right? Which is really nice. And the deck is kind of in the background right now. It's not directly linked up or visible, but in the future, when I have more focus on that project again, then I also intend to bring that more to the foreground and automate and potentially. I mean, this deck has like a potential to be part of workshops and like launches and whatnot. And so it's been slumbering a little bit.
I think that's a great transition to maybe another question I wanted to dive into with you. I know you've created some card decks for clients as well, and I don't really know any details about those projects, but would you say those were also the types of decks that were became part of your client's marketing or business in a certain way. Like maybe share some examples if you can of what that can look like and yeah, like what, different types of different ways of using decks and businesses
Sure.
you've
Yeah.
been part of basically.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So I have one example of a lady who came to me and she felt she was on a mission to empower women around a specific topic around their period, to normalize how people talk about the period. And we started talking about the opportunities of card deck, and she loved my illustrations. And I ended up teaming up with game specialist Jean Berry. And we ended
Love
up
her.
designing actual card. I know she's amazing. So we ended up actually designing a game for her. So not just a card deck, but there's a gamification behind it. And so this is what ended up coming out of that one. It's called Time Periods Game. And that's a conversation starter game for her movement. And that whole thing is like designed for her brand and her movement, very custom tailored, a tool. And it has like several card decks types and an empowering card deck. So that's one that I designed, and we ended up doing a Kickstarter with and for her, and that was quite a big project because it was she came to us when she didn't have a following yet, and it's like, how do you have to build a community first to be able to do a Kickstarter because you need crowd who's like already excited. And so everybody needs their own unique strategy, right? Like it depends on where you're at with your brand, what is your goal, what are you gonna want to get out there. If it's just like it can be just a deck that you love that you're inspired to share, and it's like one of the things that you do, and you have many things maybe as a coach or whatever you're doing. So then it doesn't always matter as much as like if it reflects your brand like specifically or whatever. Like this one was really about her movement and like a key component of her brand, with her lingo and all that she stands for and so forth. So it depends on the strategy, right? And then I've designed a few other decks, like an oracle deck for Lewis Warnock, a spirit guide channeled um, deck. I did that, and that was more an oracle deck kind of thing. Like I think you guys are doing a lot of that, right? Like these inspired mythical decks. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of my clients definitely more in like in that category. I've done a lot of Oracle decks for clients and also in our community, I'd say we have a lot of Oracle and Tarot deck creators and yeah, I mean, we're really open to working with, anyone who wants to make a card deck, whether it's a game or an educational deck. And there's so many ways we can get creative. And
Yes, I love it.
yeah.
I do want to highlight one thing that I love as an opportunity for everybody. If you want to stand out with your unique coaching or your wellness services, your offer to the world, right? Like, and you want to kind of have people remember you, see you, meet you for your superpowers, then I think thinking about a card deck that would represent you in a way that's such a cool opportunity because then it's like what I did in a simple way with the branding piece back then, right? Or what I have now with the permission to sparkle, then people can experience a bit of what you bring to the world as a professional, and they can playfully engage with it, and it's an easy door opener. Like this can literally be like a marketing tool that doesn't feel like marketing to me, right? I simply show up in a call, I play with the card, we talk about it, people experience it, and if they're intrigued they can lean in, and it brings them into my world, right? So decks that are designed with that in mind too. If you want to show your superpowers to the world and design a deck for that, that can have huge marketing potential to get you visible to more people. So I just want to plant that seed with everybody.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And I think it works similarly in the book publishing industry too, especially self-published books. But I think even, best-selling books published by big publishing houses, like often the book is not, the thing, or just selling the book is not the thing that makes, the money or that's going to be super profitable, but it's just a way to get your message out there to reach more people and to, yeah, it's like in that way part of your business. And a card deck can be exactly the same thing. So I mean, there's so many ways to use it. A lot of, say, like tarot readers or oracle readers will maybe also do readings on their YouTube channel, or I mean, there's so many ways, but it just makes it really, really fun and easy. And then it's also like having your own product through which you share more specific messages that come through you. So it's not just, you're using somebody else's deck, which is also fine. A lot of people do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But having something very personal, it's just, yeah, it's a way for you to share your message. And it's also like a journey of growth that you step into when you start making a card deck. Like you learn a lot about yourself.
Yes, for
Um,
sure.
and I just wanted to say too, that first deck that you showed us, that was a time periods. Um,
Which one?
the first client deck that you showed us.
Oh, the game, the time periods
Yes,
game.
this one. This is actually someone who first came to me,
Oh,
and
I
I
forgot. That's right.
I sent her to Jean, I think, and then you ended up working together. I'm so glad that's how it happened, because like I felt like it wasn't the deck for me, but I felt like it could be a perfect fit for Jean, and then I guess you, and I just love how it turned out, you know.
Thank you. Yeah, I loved it. It was so fun. Also to do the illustrations for custom illustrations of all these empowered women that are probably like sheroes on the deck and stuff. It's like astronaut. Anyway, yeah, super fun.
So I just want to open things up now for our audience. If you guys have any other questions, or also Heath, if you have any questions, I'd love for you to share anything that's coming up
Yeah,
for you.
I definitely do. So thank you for all of that. It's really fun to listen to you and feel the playful energy coming through and just naming how important it is to lead with that energy, because whatever energy you're leading with is what you're creating around you and what you're going to attract. And
Yes.
um, I also love that you don't get lost in like the expectation of something needing to be bigger than it has to be in the moment, and how that can be something that is alleviating and actually allows us to rest and play and bring something really beautiful into the world. You mentioned earlier that you were creating a deck actually when you were in the process of fighting, did you say stage 4 cancer, Anna?
Yeah.
Like, which is a really intense place to be, obviously, that I had no idea how intense that could potentially be. But I have a lot of people in my life that are close to me right now that are battling their own versions of this. And we even have some in the group that are navigating some rough places. And I really loved how you were able to just kind of talk like I was doing that in the middle of that. And I'm wondering how much leaning into the creativity of that, and then like all the play that you're talking about and the easiness and the lightness that you bring to each one of your moments, like how much you think that helped you through that journey.
Oh, I'm so glad you're asking that question. That's a whole separate conversation, but I can tell you that joy saved my life. So a focus on joy, and I don't mean just a superficial kind, but like deliberately choosing to generate joy or take steps toward joy in every step of the moment was my life choice. And I had a breakdown moment that brought me back to this when I felt how much pressure I was putting on myself when it was so intense at the time. I was like, I can give you the quick story. It was like at the beginning of my journey with chemo and everything, I had like finance pressure and all the things. I was trying to figure it all out. And I was sitting at a kitchen table one evening and I just suddenly realized like how heavy that it all felt. Like it felt like a sack of potatoes on my chest. And I was like, and then I got like an intuitive voice that came to me that said, like really calmly, it was no pressure, but it it sounded like Astrid. if you want to get well, you have to create wellness feelings. And I was like, what? It was like such a no-brainer for me, and then suddenly I'm like, of course, I know the permission to sparkle, la la la. And then I was like, well, do I want to get well? And I'm like, yeah, of course I want to get well. And so it brought me back to resolutely claim joy as my guidance, and I really took it in every moment as a step. And one of the first things that I did back then was actually to evaluate, well, what do I need to shift right now that is not joyful? And I was working with coaches, doing like shadow work, trying to figure out my business, doing this really heavy stuff. And it felt really hard and heavy to work with them with that topic. And I chose to say no, to stop, and to choose a creativity space. That was one of the first things. It was actually Jean Barry's. She had a group at the time. It was like, I forgot what it was called, but we were focusing on dreams, on what our heart and soul wants, and we were using intuition and creativity and playfulness to tune into what's possible and all of that. And so that was such a soul food, and it lifted me up, and I kept using it in all areas. And during that time, like Jean actually also, we were also looking at our business, and she actually encouraged me, like, yeah, launch your book. I finished it, wrapped it while I was in cancer too. It was almost done, but it was just sitting there. So I finished it and proofread it and got it out there. And then the deck that happened then, and it was just baby steps, right? I kept it really manageable. But all of that also brought me joy, right? So I focused on something joyful, and all of that is like there's so many benefits for our healing for that. And I actually, if your friends and family are interested, I do have workshops that are helping us tap into our superpowers also through cancer, because I'm and other challenges like that. I'm about to release the next book this October, Permission to Sparkle Through Cancer. And so just send people my way if they're open to support themselves that way. It can be a super tool, superpower. And I think it brings us back to our life force. That's how I see it. Joy is our life force, and playfulness opens that door. And that also ripples like through business and everything, right? We're not meant to be like doing business uh like all this drudgery. Like we heard all this conditioning of like, oh, you're grown up, you go to like, life is serious now, right? Like, make a living, make money, blah blah, all these things. Like, actually doing it in a way that feels light and playful is the way to go. And like, that's when you know it's aligned with your heart and soul, and that's when things become easy. And why do it the hard way if it can flow? I mean, really.
100%. I've seen that so many times in my life. I think for some people it works, doing it the hard way, or, doing it the logical way. But for me, like I usually see when things get too heavy, or I focus too much on strategy, or kind of, implementing based on like predefined systems or instructions or whatever, then yeah, or it just, when it doesn't feel good, then I know like things typically start to slow down. And when I bring the joy and the lightfulness back in, then things just start to move naturally, and there's so much magic that
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
And I find like both has a place, right? Like, just because I tune into joy doesn't mean I don't have a strategy. It means I open up to playfulness to hear my aligned strategy. And like, then you'll know when it clicks. You're like, oh, it's like with that story with by the sea, when I suddenly had that idea with the game and the challenge for a week, and that was my strategy, and it was the aligned one that dropped in, right? So you'll know when you're like, oh, this is how it's gonna work. I got the next steps, right? So it's allowing it to come in from your highest intelligence. I think that's when magic happens.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm losing my train of thought here, but yeah, it's totally true. I think it's just you're not following somebody else's rules, or you're not letting, conditioning or society or whoever tell you this is how you need to do it, and then you just struggle your way through it. But you
Yeah.
just allow it to come through naturally, and
Yes, yes. And that benefits you brand wise also, right? Because suddenly you're doing something else, right? Because like how many people have done challenges, and there's a place for that, right? But there's so many years. I'm like, if I hear another challenge, I'm like, oh my God, like, do I really want to do it, right? So people look for different things, for fresh wind, for light things. And when you're lit up about it, then chances are that people are going to be also lit up about it. I do want to acknowledge, Shireen, you said a comment in our chat, and you said that's amazing. It's part of your vision for your deck too, coordinating into retreats. It sounds like you designed it so that it like leads into your retreats. If anybody, do you want to share about that, or did you have a question?
I was just, I've been doing a lot of work in the last couple weeks of really, where do I want our deck to go from this prototype into print into things. And um, I just keep coming back to groups, retreats. And I wrote down a whole lot of what you were just saying because I get inspired. Like this one is still in process. I'm like, oh yeah, a joy deck because I actually teach a course, a 12-week course on creating more joy and different. So anyway, it just feels very, I'm just like buzzing all over the place right now. Like, okay. And so you definitely be hearing from me, even if it's just maybe to chat about things. Are you still doing branding stuff or are you
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah.
It depends. I have all these like resources or tools up my sleeve, so I'd love to chat, and maybe I can point you in a direction, and depending on what you need, or yeah.
Yeah. So very excited. Anyway, thanks for igniting my buzz.
Woo, that makes me so happy. Thanks for sharing.
Shireen is creating a really beautiful, unique tarot deck with another artist who's not here on the live call today. And they co-created this really beautiful. So it's not a very traditional type of tarot deck. It has five suits and a lot more cards than a usual tarot deck.
That,
I'm really excited to, yeah, be with you on this journey, Shireen, and watch it come to life.
Yes. No, this group is amazing. And then Heath are amazing. Like, you talk about those aligned steps that just fall into place. And it took me a while to say yes to all of this because of all the conditioning of like, well, what's smart? What's the things? And yeah, it's amazing to be here. And all of the people in this group in the call, when we share, it's a blessing.
Thank you, Shireen. Um, Before we move to the next thing, I just wanted to check back in with you, Heath. Do you have any other questions for Astrid?
I was just lingering on you didn't say this directly, but it was a much more whimsical way of saying it. But the idea of play leading to strategy, like in the relaxation of just being in your dharmic play, that's where the visions come in. That's where the intuition becomes clear and allowing that to birth toward whatever the creative project is or the strategy. I think is a really important thing to highlight because when we go into creating card decks, there's always like a million things that we've got to figure out how to do it. But if you just do that every step of the way and just keep surrendering to the fun and the joy you're having creating it and just let it be an extension of yourself, I think that absolutely blows open the door for it to come into the world in a way that it's supposed to, and not maybe in a way that we're forcing it to, which would then, not fulfill the purpose. So I'm wondering if you have any, when you play and when you play with intention too, what are you doing just like on a daily basis that allows you to stay in that joy? Um, Obviously, you sound like you're frolicking through nature a lot and camping and things like that, and that's the way. Um, but I'm just curious if there's any things, not like a teaching mechanism, but just I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and it's actually very practical, and doing things that I love, right? So, for example, I have a dog and I walk dogs, and so when I have, let's say I have like a big project and I want to get more clear about it and I want to find the next strategy or the next step or something, I literally, what I often do is like bring it back to my attention. I just look at it, and I ask my question and then I go for that walk and let it go. So then you're out in nature and then you do your thing. It's like whatever brings you joy. Some people love to clean the house or I take a shower. I sometimes do that in front of taking a shower. It's like, oh, I wonder what I'll do about this. This is like what I'd like to achieve, blah, 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 blah. Just kind of lightly ask that question. That is your question. And then do something else and enjoy yourself, whatever it is at the moment. That is a strategy. And I've actually seen that also advertising agencies use that. Like, so if you guys ever watched Mad Men, I'm currently I've
Yeah.
been questioning myself, why am I watching Mad Men? It's this really misogynistic, like really intense show. But like there were things that inspired me. And one of them really is that I also saw like these leading guys, like he would do the same thing. He would like ask a question, be curious about that, and then he would go take a nap or go play, right? And then things drop in. That's a strategy. So yeah.
So perfect. Yeah, I just, I don't know. I'm tempted to go down a human design rabbit hole here, but it just, yeah, reminds me of, I don't know. Do you know anything about human design, Astrid? At all?
It's so funny. Over all the years, I keep hearing about it. I'm like, I should look this up, and I still haven't looked it up. So I don't know. No, I don't know much about
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to go into much detail here, but it's just, you know, for those who know their type, if you're a generator or manifesting generator, that's, you know, just waiting for something to respond to. That's kind of what
Ah,
came through here for me. And also, respond to it based on what brings you joy when it really feels joyful and exciting and lights you up and you're on the right track. Um, so I don't know, just a lot of what you mentioned on this call today reminded me of that. But
cool.
I'm not going to go further into the rabbit hole now. So the last thing I wanted to do with you, Astrid, before we close the call, I wanted to ask you if you wanted to pull a card from maybe the Permission to Sparkle deck or whatever deck you want to use, really,
Maybe,
and
of
or maybe
course.
something from the book as well if you want to share something. But
Sure.
um,
So I'm inspired to to read something first from the little leaflet that I created because I co-created this deck with Merlin. And I'm landing here on Merlin says, you can only win by playing this game. However you choose to play it, play daily, and soon your life will be more sparkly. You can simply pick a card as inspiration, trust it will give you just what you need, or play one of the games on the other side of this leaflet. And there are a few games you can do card spreads and stuff. So, okay, I'm going to pull a card and you can just say stop whenever.
okay, stop.
Okay, cool. I just touched. Okay, cool. So this is a juicy card, and those are play cards. They have on the back that says, like a squirrel gathers treats, collect and do play prompts. Sweet. So they bring you into playful energy. Okay, so here's the message. Do this as an action prompt. Magical bird message. A most amazing, resplendent, iridescent bird is sitting on a tree with a tweet for you to hear. It has superpowers, it sees your brilliance, and it wants you to be magnificent. Listen, what's its message for you? Tweet, tweet, magnificent tweet. And what will you do?
I love it. I feel like I got this card before. It feels very familiar.
So actually, I'm encouraging everybody, like, picture this bird for a second and really listen, like, what drops in for you? What's the message for you? Do you want me to read it again, or
If you
I'll
want
just
to.
I'll just say the second part. Listen, what's its message for you? Tweet, tweet, magnificent tweet. And what will you do? So catch that message and write it down and then go do it after this call.
I'll just share briefly what's coming through for me. I feel like there might be some more coming after this, but I feel like the colorful part is really standing out to me there. Like the colorful bird, like playing with colors, or
Nice.
there's probably
Awesome.
more there.
Yeah, that's great. And then take one thing and take it with you and activate it by an action somehow, right?
If
Okay, you
anybody
asked.
else wants to share what,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
feel free to put in the chat what came through for you if anybody wants to share.
You asked for one prompt from the book. So I played bibliomancy, just pointing my finger blindly and landed on something. And I landed on a chapter that has like prompts about activating more sparkle, playful prompts. And the prompt that I landed on is like, dress up, go to your wardrobe and pick out clothes that feel like these sparkle feelings that you want, and get rid of others that don't. So, like tuning into the energy of your clothes and really pick something that makes you feel happy and sparkling. And it can be literal sparkle, but it can also just be whatever that means to you, right? It's like the energy. So, page number 89. Joanna asks. Yeah.
Some people love to interpret numbers as angel
Oh,
numbers,
cool.
the
Yeah,
way you
that's nice.
asked,
I
Joanna.
like it. Yes. Yeah, 9 being complete, right? 8 abundance, 9 complete, and I don't know what else you get from that.
Feel free to share if you have a specific interpretation of that, Joanna.
I
So,
just have to turn your mic on.
Well, it would
There
be
you go.
it would be an 8. So you reduce it to the lowest number, so it would be an 8, which is abundance. So that's awesome.
perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
I would love to give like one last inspiration or question for you all, because is that okay, Anna?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So everyone showed up here with a kind of a curiosity around marketing, right? And like had to bring your magic more to the world. And so, and I'm assuming that you all are already working on a card deck, or you already have one. And so I want to give you the curiosity to just like feel into that deck that most excites you, that you already have or are working towards, and feel into it, and then like ask yourself like, how might you be able to use that playfully in your marketing? And then see what shows up. Maybe you go for a walk and just stay with that curiosity question for yourself and see what shows up. Because there are many things that could pop up, like make sure it feels sparkling to you. And you'll know when it feels light. You're like, ooh, I want to do that. When that drops in, right? And if you're stuck with that, that's also my superpower, to help people find their easy marketing path that feels sparkling and like lights you up. Like think outside of the box. You can also reach out to me, and I can help people find that for your unique brand and think outside of the box with your unique deck and your superpowers of like creating something very special that will light you up and draw in people.
I love that. I just wanted to mention too, Astrid has a really amazing community as well. If you want to share that with us, I think that would be a really easy way to get in touch with you, or kind of start connecting with you.
Sure.
If
Yeah, thank
anybody's
you.
interested in working with you.
Yeah, thanks. So I have several spaces, but I'll say first my website just leads you to everything, astridmueller.com, and you can just reach out on Facebook, say hi, wave your magic wand if you have a wish, whether it's for your business or any question, and then I can best know where to guide you. But if you're interested as a business owner, and you also see yourself, as a integrative wellness, you love that idea because whatever you bring to the planet helps people boost their wellness in one way or another: body, mind, emotion, spirit, soul, right? I do have on School, if you have the School app, we have a community called the Integrative Wellness Biz Lounge, and that is a really cool connection place where you can connect with other wellness professionals. You can access opportunities like the Integrative Wellness Card Deck that I mentioned. You can get business support. You can find collaboration partners, co-creation, and so forth. So So that's definitely one that I'm inviting all of you into. And then I also have a free wellness community that you can also come in to play and raise your vibe. And that's the Wellness Oasis on School.
We'll share some of those links in the description below the video as well. This will be up on YouTube. And I'm just seeing some comments in the chat here. So maybe I'll just briefly read those. Shireen saw Blue Jay. That was in response to the card. Blue Jay, picnic and share. I love that. And then Mona says, I'm going through a bit of a medical situation. And for me, I immediately got the call to make sure I find things that bring me joy, maybe even some adult coloring books on top of my decks to draw in positive energy during my hospital stay and healing journey. Keep me connected to creativity.
I love that. Mona, I do have calls that I'm doing to spark inner superpowers and nourish your soul sparkle. If you're interested in that, we use creativity and meditation and so forth. So just message me and you can be a guest and see if you want to support yourself with that. I have a call for that.
Thank you, Astrid. And there's a second part of the comment as well. I tend to get so serious around projects and work. This is important work for me because laughter and silliness are the heart of who I am in my personal life. I have to remember to include that in my creative life. Play, so important. Yes, yes, yes. Love that. Okay, I think we can start wrapping up. But before we end this call, I just wanted to ask you, Astrid, if there's anything else, any last words you want to share, any other links or ways to get in touch with you, and then we can wrap up.
No, I think that's it. I think we really I feel complete. Just come to my website and you'll find all the pathways and just reach out anytime when you're inspired. I'd love to welcome you all if you resonate. So nice to see you. I would love to hear also what landed. Like, feel free to come over and celebrate. Say like, yay, this happened for me. That always makes me happy when, you know. Yeah, thank you all too. And thank you, Anna, so much. And Heath, it was really a pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, this was so fun. I'm so glad we were able to make it work after a brief delay, but it was perfect timing today. And I just feel so inspired. Like every time we connect, I get so inspired. I just love the joy and the magic and the creativity, the sparkly energy that comes in every time we connect.
Yes.
And yeah, and I just wanted to share too, for anybody who's listening to this and you have an idea for a card deck that you want to create, or maybe you're already on the journey and you want support on your journey of creating, launching, selling your card deck. We would love for you to come into our Deck Creators Launchpad and community. You can find us at deckcreators.com, and we'll have the link in the description as well. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you all so much. Bye.
Thank you, Astrid.